In this episode, we shall talk about time, and more specifically about the twin paradox. Relativity fails to understand what time really is. Relativity uses time as if it is a real physical entity, capable of interacting with the physical real world. It will be simple to prove that time is in fact only a product of our minds, a virtual operator, living only in the virtual space of our minds. Pretending to use a virtual operator as a real physical actor is the same as employing the people on the TV screen to move the furniture. Let's see how special relativity works in practice before we delve into the actual analysis of time. First thing to notice about special relativity is that it doesn't care about distances and masses. Special relativity only cares about speeds, relative speeds. A and B are supposed to influence each other's measured times, clocks, instantly, depending only on their speed relative to each other, at any distance and regardless of their masses. If a mosquito sneezes fast enough on Earth, the clocks in the Andromeda galaxy will run faster. The universe is supposed to be 92 billion light years wide. If our mosquito flies at a certain speed, according to relativity, all the clocks across the universe will adapt to that crucial speed of mosquito. Also, the Rolex on our mosquito's hand will lag slow if another mosquito in another galaxy outruns him. The resident evil inside me asks, what happens in case that more mosquitoes fly simultaneously at different speeds? How will the clocks in the universe react to this uncanny situation? How will they adapt to many relative speeds? Will they split, dilate, get slower, get dizzy, panic and disarray? Will Andromeda laugh? Will she get allergic to mosquitoes? One grain of sand traveling faster than Jupiter 1 billion light years away from you would dilate the time you measure, more than Jupiter itself traveling 1 meter away from you. That sounds like science fiction to me. Yet again, it must be the resident evil envy inside me talking. A and B are supposed to influence each other's clocks instantly, regardless of the distance between them, even if that distance is 1 billion light years. The time spirit, whatever it might be, undefined by relativity, is supposed to travel instantly between A and B, such as its metaphysical influence to strike instantly their clocks. The speed of time is faster than the speed of light, by far. Relativity states that nothing travels faster than the speed of light. Relativity contradicts its own logic, which is at the bacterian level to begin with. No pun intended. I apologize if I had offended some reasonable bacteria. Squealing absurdity is raised to the rank of absolute truth. Before getting to a more serious definition of time, let's crack a famous paradox, self-contradiction, produced by the equations of relativity, the twin paradox. Relativity seems to be built upon paradoxes, indeed a reliable building material. I will cut all the corners and get directly into the core of it. Take two identical balloons, driven by Alice and Bob, and let them travel at speed v relative to each other. Make this happen somewhere deep in the empty space, with no fun club anywhere near. No Earth, no gravitational mass, no orchestra, no circus around. Relativity states simply by its equations that the time Ta measured by A is Ta equals g times Tb, where g is gamma, equal square root 1 divided by 1 minus v squared divided by c squared. Because v is smaller than c, g is bigger than 1, it means that always time A is smaller than time B when measured by A. Relativity also states, using precisely the same equation, that the time measured by B is Tb equals gta, which means that time B is smaller than time A when measured by B. In its magic wisdom, special relativity calculates that time A is simultaneously greater and smaller than time B. This is called in math a reduction to absurdity. You check the validity of one formula by using it in certain valid situations. If you get to absurd results by doing that, it becomes clear that your formula is wrong. There is no dispute in math about the validity of this method. It is as sure as 1 plus 1 equals 2 in math. But who is this math guy? What does he know? Relativity knows better than that. Relativity says 1 plus 1 equals 1. Relativity thrives on absurdity. How does special relativity get away with this self-contradiction? Well, special relativity squeals for help to its big brother, general relativity, the one who states that gravity is not a real force, but an illusion produced by the curvature of the space-time lines. I wish general relativity breaks its legs falling on the stairs. After that, I will ask its opinion about illusional gravity again. These curved space-time lines are described as being made of nothing. It's a good time to learn that the nothing is actually curved, made of soft, low-cost materials. They had to produce a lot of it and they wanted to save some money. And that's why it bends. The straight nothing comes far more expensive. Only special relativity can afford it. Here comes the general to help little special Joey by saying that B must turn around in order to check clocks with A. So he must accelerate. So they no longer qualify as inertial systems. Therefore, the spell gets split in between and no longer works. Well, I'm glad to announce Alice and Bob that the metaphysical crack in the spell can be easily healed. I'm happy to offer them the relief for their pain. It is based on traditional medicine and involves paper and pencils. Soft paper and gel pens will do the trick as well. Let two cheerleaders, C and D, stationary at the ends of a shiny rigid bar CD, synchronize their clocks. Let A and B approach on a line parallel to CD at the constant speed v relative to each other. A will synchronize her clock with C when she touches C with her magic wand, and B will do the same with D. They will maneuver their balloons in such a way that they will touch C and D simultaneously, as measured by C and D on their referential bar, as it can immediately be confirmed by the communication between them. They can certainly write the times on paper and raise the papers above their heads, such as they confirm that A and B had touched them simultaneously, measured at the same time on their synchronized clocks. I know it's hard to get the simultaneity, but it's certainly possible. They'll keep trying until they make it right. Let's give them the credit and say that they did that. Now A and B have their watches synchronized at T0 when they've touched C and D. A will now measure the time TA and B will measure respectively TB until they meet and touch each other, and each of them will write the time that he measures on the traditional paper. Every step was done at constant inertial speed v, precisely according to the special relativity's gospel, so no excuse for them to squeal for help from the general. they are relieved of the pain of acceleration. Lo and behold, the crack in the middle of the spell was healed. They are free to turn upside down, go for a coffee at the CD bar, and check the times written on paper. The magic predicted by the special relativity must stay written on paper now. Now they can see with their own eyes how TA is simultaneously greater and smaller than TB. I'll let you read this. This is the result in the Invertigian dialect, relativistic language. This language is spoken only in the idiotical wonderland of Alice and Bob, where only the inverted eagles can fly. And it proves that relativity works. Shout louder, please. I love this music. I can dance on it. Now let's get to a more realistic perspective. From where I stand, special relativity looks like a curly tail grown on the forefront of the modern physics. It looks proud and dandy, but it only covers one side of the forefront. Nature demands symmetry. That's why a second, even more curly tail had grown on the other side of the forefront. General relativity. Together look like two coil strings. When you pull one, the other sings. Yet there is a major issue that keeps me awake in the nights. I am concerned about the health of poor Alice. Imagine that many Bobs swarm around Alice simultaneously at different speeds. This is a plausible risk. The watch on her hand will need to show many different hours simultaneously. Time A is G time B. That is to say, the hands on Alice's wristwatch will split and multiply. That could easily escalate into a health threat. What if the watch turns into a centipede and bites Alice? All I can hope is that it won't be venomous. This is not a minor detail that science can easily get over with. Scientific research is in progress regarding the potentially hazardous relation between the multiple middle hands and the deep space-time